Justin Hastings writes, I was recently looking at the release dates for some upcoming sequels and wanted to get your opinion on something. Godzilla 2 is scheduled to come out in June of 2018, 4 years after the first movie. Pacific Rim 2 is coming out in August of 2017, 4 years after the first film. And we still don't have a release date for a sequel to 2012's Prometheus. Star Trek, Mission Impossible, and Bond might be able to get away with gaps like this, but they are already established franchises. What do you think?
Yeah, we were kind of touching on this a little bit earlier. I think you raised a great example in the thing. There are some brand names that are going to be relevant regardless of the passage of time. Mission Impossible, Star Trek, things like that. You're right. I do think they are waiting too long for Pacific Rim 2. I think that's one they probably should have struck a little bit sooner. But there's some works it doesn't work. We talked a little bit earlier, Entourage. I think that movie does 50% more at the box office if it comes out 1 calendar year ago, as opposed to now. I think they waited too long on that. That wasn't the only problem, but I think that is one of the things going into it. So I think you're right. I think there are some movies that simply wait too long, and there are some movies that can afford to wait that long. Godzilla, I think, is another one. It's Godzilla. Godzilla will still be the Godzilla name 3 years from now, whatever. But remember, one of the reasons they pushed Godzilla back was because they really wanted the director back, and he was doing Star Wars. So they said, okay, you know what? Instead of doing Godzilla without him, let's wait for another year, and they get Edwards back to do Godzilla again. So I agree with everything you said in the mail, actually. Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree too. It's irksome, especially when you like, hey, look, Captain America, they're filming it right now and it comes out next year. It can be done. You don't have to wait 4 years. Somebody could start shooting Pacific Rim, Guillermo, start shooting Pacific Rim 2 right now, and it can come out in 2 years. It doesn't have to be 4 years. I guess they set these dates and they lock them in, so I don't know. It's irksome as the same with Godzilla. Like, I wasn't a big fan of this new Godzilla. They didn't have Godzilla in it enough, but it made enough money to make a second Godzilla. So for me, I was like, well, at least in the second Godzilla will actually be in it. So,
but I think
I have
we
to wait
all
4
agree.
years.
But one of the things that all of us who saw Godzilla agree about is that we needed more Godzilla on the news footage. That's what that movie needed.
That's right.
It needed more news footage.
Cutaways, actually,
Yes,
right as
cutaways,
Godzilla was
news
about to do something, to cut away to something else,
It
like a kid eating a
increases the
sandwich.
dramatic tension, Schnepp.
Yeah, I was the tension when that kid eating the sandwich, when the Godzilla was trying to fight. The tension,
It was palpable.
You could have seen the tension on my face, like anger was. That's what the word tension is, right? It's extreme disappointment and anger mixed together.
The full title of that movie was Godzilla, time permitting Godzilla. I actually loved Godzilla. I thought the tension buildup was great. I thought the
cut away
ending
to
paid
baby
off.
baby sleeping right when you're talking. We're doing a Godzilla thing. Right as you're about to finish what you're saying, cut away to a small child sleeping.
It builds tension. Now
It
people want to
does.
know the rest of my statement,
know.
of which I don't know what I'm saying. I think Godzilla is a built-in franchise, and just like you said, the name, that, like King Kong, anytime that comes out, it's going to be fine. I actually like the fact that they're delaying Godzilla so they can get a quality film. If you're delaying it a year and you get that year, oh man, we got to wait another year, but it's because you want to make the film better. Hopefully it's the same reason why Pacific Rim is taking so long to come out. That's the question that you would have is like, oh, are they just cranking out a sequel? I'd rather them take their time with it, with something like that, than just rush it out because they know it can be a cash grab. So Prometheus, I think, too, is kind of a franchise.
Do you think that Edwards is going to do that in
I
the
don't
Star
wanna.
Wars movie? Like you're about to see, an X-wing flying towards something, and it's just going to cut away to somebody sleeping.
Now on the Imperial HoloNet, we cut away to this breaking